Safemoon Army. If you aren't joining the numerous Twitter spaces that some of the Safemoon Army are hosting, you're truly missing out on some serious intel, especially intel coming directly from CEOs and developers of companies involved with the Safemoon swap, like this one. Amy Jo was hosting a Twitter space titled Safemoon Barbershop. Don Bailey from BBTF and M Protocol and Mendy from grovetoken were on the space on talking about Safemoon, some nuggets on their own companies, and they were also fighting the FUD in an educational manner. Things mentioned in these next following clips are a must to hear, and if you weren't bullish on Safemoon or any one of their swap partners before, you will be after this. Take a listen. Here's the first nugget. Let me set this up for you. This first nugget is Don Bailey talking about his bullish sentiment on Safemoon after meeting a core Safemoon member in person. Here, take a listen.
I'm not going to talk about BBTF right now. I want to talk about Safemoon for a second, if that's okay. Joshua Chilcutt was in South Carolina. We invited him out to a dinner with one of my clients. His son was there too. Who's freaking amazing. Going into politics, he's going to do some amazing things there. We were at one of my clients' house, and that guy is absolutely phenomenal. I've met him before, like he's absolutely amazing. But like hearing his life story, like you know, the humility, like the humble beginnings, like it was absolutely phenomenal. And I'm more bullish than I've ever been on Safemoon just after seeing the person that's directing the operations. Like it was amazing. And all I can say on that is Orbital Shield is bigger than like most people are thinking it is. Like it's absolutely like game changing for DeFi.
First of all, Don spoke about a client who will be going into politics and doing amazing things. I think it's safe to say that we all believe that there needs to be more crypto-friendly politicians in office, and Don Bailey also shares this idea. This would be good for the crypto space as a whole, and he couldn't say nicer things about Chilcutt. But what really swells my cape is the mention of the SOS, or Safemoon's Orbital Shield, game-changing for DeFi. Sounds like the security system will be top-notch and the gold standard for all. And we all know that Safemoon plans on making Orbital Shield a utility by providing it as a service to other projects. Now that's real utility. Someone sent me a DM on Twitter asking who would buy a security service for their project. No one would. My reply, I guess you never heard of ADT, McAfee, Norton, etc. Needless to say, that DM discussion ended very quickly. The next snippet here is Don Bailey speaking about transactions on a blockchain and how they can be used as a weapon against those who don't know how to read or interpret them. This very much applies and is related to Coroni and Safemoon. All those fudders out there regarding the Gabe wallet and Bitmart. Nah. Here, take a listen. A close listen.
Anybody can read the blockchain, right? Like it's there. But what we experience is a lot of different interpretations of what is happening on the blockchain. And sometimes someone's interpretation may seem logical, right? Which is, you know, it's a fallacy to say A plus B equals C when the underlying assumption of what actually equals A is wrong. Like those fallacies can lead people to the wrong conclusions. So I can't even say it because an NDA bars me from saying it, but like there are a lot of things that are happening on the blockchain that could be like viewed as something that is detrimental to a project, while at the same time the transaction is actually doing is something that is fundamentally far greater for the project itself. And so when we have these echo chambers on Twitter to where, you know, we're able to let some voices rise to the top and like become the dominant, you know, narrative or dialogue about a project, the only thing the project can do is just continue to work and then push it out.
Don is right. People will always prey on others who don't have as much knowledge on a topic. It's your responsibility to stay vigilant and do your own research. Ignorance in this case is indeed not bliss. I want to play another segment for you. Here is Don being spicy regarding Bitburn and why projects like BBTF and Safemoon keeps information close to their chest. Here, take a listen.
I'm about to be spicy. We acquired Bitburn, and then in a matter of days, there was Bitburn Reflect, there was ETHEREUM, there was some Matic Burn. Like there were so many burn tokens that came out, and we were just like, yep, This happened in hours after the acquisition. Anyway, we acquired it for one specific purpose, and the purpose is still realized because we pivoted to Mirror. And the one reason why we aren't releasing what the Mirror is until it's released is because we know how quickly developers can fork an idea. And then people are just like, why aren't you publishing your, contracts or your service contracts to the blockchain? Because you guys take everything, and we had to go out and spend, 5 digits for, IP lawyers just because this community is the way it is. So that's just me being spicy right there. But at the same time, like, it's not the fact that, like, I'm completely in favor of open source technology. What I'm not in favor of is our technology being used for nefarious purposes. So when we say holders first, we mean holders first. We work with companies that put their holders first, and we're going to continue to do that. And as we continue to do that, our ability to innovate, like, we're not going to sacrifice our ability to innovate because, there are some accounts with, 22 followers and following 700 people that, keep posting on all of our comments. Like, I'm sorry, we just can't do that.
Spicy indeed, Don. Don makes good points on how a company is not going to bend their knees to fudders and the like. Another bullish sentiment is how he will always put the holder's best interest first. Nice. In this next gem, Mendy seriously exposes the tactics of fudders. She calls it emotional grabbing. Mendy definitely reciprocates Don's spiciness. Take a listen to help protect yourself from the FUD with the power of knowledge.
It always comes from people because they know it's an emotional grab, right? What they're after is emotional manipulation in hopes that you'll make an emotional decision about your investment, which is always to their gain. It's not like they do it for the fun of it. There are some that do actually do it for entertainment because they're just that demented. The reason why that they go for the ledgers and make speculation is because they know that you're not educated. Typically, I'm not being insulting, but don't know about the blockchain to see what it is your own self. Most people don't know how to map a wallet. So therefore, whatever it is, and someone's smart enough to say that they are, well, then you're going to be like, oh, well, such and such said so, or I saw this person in this space because they played pretend that they were really for that community and got follows, but now this person all of a sudden is saying this. Well, that was the entire objective of their mission, was to get in the community and to get you to like them, so that way that you went with whatever it was that they said.
To obfuscate the narrative.
Exactly. And so, that's the one thing about, this community, our community, and several, is that, no, yes, but no, there's new money that's coming in. But at the same time, there is an abundance of people that are tired of the FUD. They know the games. They know that they're not going to sit there and say Mindy went out and bought a unicorn and you're going to believe it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so I think that they're losing power in that is because people are now seasoned to FUD, and we're all now seasoned to the tactics of that. And that one of the number one things they all go for, we all know this, is number one, they say such and such dumped their bag. Number two, they sit there and say that there's something wrong with the ledger or the wallets, so that way that you'll get emotional about it because you don't know how to look at it and do it yourself. Have you ever noticed, do they ever really go about other topics? No, they go about the two emotion grabbers, which is who somebody dumped, somebody's doing something with the ledger.
Of course, to introduce distrust to the community is step one. To blame developers of dumping their bags is the easiest way to do this, and for those of you who have difficulty interpreting the transactions on the blockchain, wouldn't be able to decipher if it's true or not. However, at that point, your emotions are already rattled. And the second tactic is that there is something nefarious going on with the ledger or the wallet. Again, for those of you who have a difficult time reading these, you are the target. But Mendy's right. The Safemoon army has already their battle scars and are seasoned to FUD. We're not easily broken like diamonds. And the next little snippet is El Hennessy providing his tactical strategy to fighting against FUD. He has two themes. Here he uses common sense, and also that he has a perspective that it's a race against time, not a race against other individuals. El Hennessy puts it nicely. Here, take a listen.
I'm gonna throw myself under the bus. I'm gonna throw myself under the bus. I cannot read blockchain, right? When people post and they say, "Oh, look, they move money from here to here, and then they're trying to steal funds." You know what I do? I don't try and piggyback and I go emotionally. oh man, they're stealing funds. I think of it logically from a company perspective. One, if you're telling me you're stealing funds and the company's trying to rug, well, that's kind of impossible, because what company is trying to rug while they're hiring people? What company is trying to rug as they're building a building in Dubai? That's growth. What company is trying to rug and steal funds when they're trying to acquire and add additions to their company? Well, logically, that just doesn't make sense with that story. So I already write that off. Two, I kind of stick to my guns of, well, time will tell all, right? I'm not battling you and the FUD. I'm battling Father Time. One of us is going to be right. I don't have to argue with you right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? In due time, we'll find out. I believe that I'm right. You believe that whatever you believe, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not falling for it. So I encourage you all, if you don't know how to read blockchain, just think of it from a logical point of view. It takes money to make money, right? You want to build your company, you have to get that money from somewhere. You want to build an exchange? Cool. Well, other tokens don't just show up in the exchange. They got to be paid for. Other tokens don't just show up in the ecosystem. Like, it takes money to bring in money. But that's the side that's not talked about. They don't tell you that part. Oh, yeah, Safemoon or Grove or BBTF wants to get listed on some other exchange, Binance, that they probably have to pay a listing fee or whatever it's called. They don't tell you that. That maybe that's what that money's being used for, right? They don't. You just get half the story. Just use a little common sense. Even if you can't read the blockchain, just use a little common sense from a business perspective. I promise you it will help.
What L. Hennessy is trying to basically say here is you need to think for yourself and not blindly follow, as a moth does to the flame. And here, the next snippet is awesome. Mendy drops some knowledge regarding wallets and exchanges. This is important to understand, as this is one of the ways FUDders attack projects. Safemoon is continuing to get attacked in this way, and Mendy puts the FUD to shame. Take a listen.
The FUDders try to say that we had 69 whitelisted wallets. Well, yes and no. Well, any exchange has 3 to 4 wallets. You think they got that much money in just one wallet? No. Of course not. Duh, you wouldn't, let alone that much money. So exchanges have 2 to 3, 4 wallets depending on the exchange. And so of course, yes, there are several that are whitelisted. However, if you map them, they go to an exchange, but they didn't expect people to know that or even to just ask. And it's really simple. You just keep clicking it and it shows you exactly where it ends up at. So for those that have probably heard that line of FUD, those are exchanges, and anyone, which the people who even say that are their actual main accounts, that person knows that an exchange has that many wallets. But they also know that a lot of people are not educated in that, and you're not wrong for not being. You just aren't educated in it, and that's fine. That's not saying that you're bad because you don't, but they know that people are not, and so they know that all you can do is take their word for it.
Man, do you know how they spend it? They spend the narrative. Yes, it goes to the exchanges, but then they put it out there. Yeah, when it hits the exchanges, you can't track it anymore. So that's how they're going and buying and taking these trips and da-da-da-da. That's how they spin it.
So exchanges receive their funds from multiple wallets and also have multiple wallets. And I appreciate how L. Hennessy mentions that funds can't be tracked after it hits exchanges. After the tracking stop, the FUDders spin the narrative to meet their objectives, which is to destroy your chances of financial freedom. Sickening. DeFi is starting to look a lot like Gotham. Villains, thieves, lowlives trying to prey on the innocent. And here is the last little nugget from Don Bailey. It may be the last, but definitely not the least. Here he discusses how the Howey test and explains why it's important to have utility before launching, and discusses what DeFi is. Well, here, take a listen.
Well, yeah, I agree, Mindy. My digital marketing company still funds a lot of stuff that we do. So here's the thing. Right now, as we see it, there are 2 ideological or philosophical concepts of what is DeFi. Some people agree that DeFi should be completely trustless, so that's when you see these projects coming out with renounced contracts, right? But the contracts are renounced, but the developers own 20, 30, 40% of the supply. So what does that mean? That means that people buying in, they should just see the taxes 40%, because these people are or have historically, and there are empirical data points where these people have dumped in those projects. So that's the fear in DeFi, right? Is that the larger control of the supply will result in a dump on a project. So people are saying renounce the contract so no one controls it, but you can renounce ownership of the contract and still control the supply. So that point to me, right, when people are saying, hey, renounce your contract and make it trustless, it has less value because, empirically proven that has happened and the charts have tanked and there have been soft rugs. The next point is, what do we theoretically assume DeFi is? Personally, and, as an ethic of, or as a core competency of Blockbusters, what we believe DeFi is it's the ability for the individual to custody their own asset. So what do we develop? We develop tools for people to be able to custody their own assets. With that being said, I agree with what Safemoon says. A centralized organization can develop decentralized tools. So that is our goal, is to develop decentralized tools. So what it comes down to, and the people that are jumping into projects and projects that they believe in, is do you believe that your project has the opportunity to develop decentralized tools, or do you believe that the project in and of itself should be decentralized? Now, herein lies the legal question, right? There's a lot of projects out here that launch without a utility. We launched with 3, like given they're not as public as they should be, but the tokenview.com, BSC Wallet View, and what is the other? There's one other. They're not monetized yet, but we launched with 3 utilities. There are a lot of companies that come out and they launch with utilities and they say, oh, we're DeFi, oh, we're DeFi, oh, we're DeFi. But the problem is that they don't pass the Howey test, right? And the Howey test, right, if you got a lawyer, right, and you didn't just like fork a contract and you had a lawyer advise you on how to launch a project, would tell you that you can't just launch a token without a utility first, right? Because that's when you become a security, is when you are attempting to recruit funds for the ability to invest in a future utility. Like the utility has to be there first. So because we were able to have utilities incorporate in the United States and then launch the token, right? We were able to successfully, I guess, not trigger the Howey test. Whereas there are a lot of projects out there that say that oh, we're DeFi, but they're a security. So at the same time, what is important is the project you're investing in, your ideological conception of what DeFi is, and if you agree with the idea that a centralized company can indeed produce decentralized projects, then you're probably choosing a company that successfully passed the Howey test.
We must all arm ourselves with the best weapon against the FUD, against the naysayers, against all odds. Our best weapon is to acquire knowledge, and knowledge through educators, developers, and directly from the source. This is all part of staying vigilant. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment down below. We're almost at 1,700 subscribers. Thank you, Safemoon Army. If you like viewing this content, make sure to subscribe and punch that notification bell so you're aware when I release my next dataset video. Please share this video to get the news on Safemoon to others. Make sure to follow me on Twitter for the latest news on Safemoon as it's happening. We're growing more and more every day. For all those of you who follow, retweet, comment, like, and spread the word of Safemoon, and spread the word of my message. Alfred and I sincerely thank you. Look, Safemoon is taking their time in releasing products, that's no secret. However, look at all the adversaries standing in the way of Safemoon. Look at all those sharks waiting to attack once a product is launched. On my Twitter account, I can't even post a fact like Safemoon announces a hyperlaunch partner tomorrow without getting hate, without getting malicious sentiments or FUD. Imagine the swarm that will surround Safemoon once their next products launch. Just know this, FUD is slung at winners. Some of the blue chip coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and the like has had massive FUD during their infancy. Now, they are a powerhouse blue chip coin. Only the best get FUDded, and I have never seen such a giant FUD campaign ever before. And these are all aimed at Safemoon and its partners. Stay vigilant, stay patient, stay Safemoon, and I'll stay Safemoon Knight.